I'm gonna go ahead and look at something fun, okay? How America's justice system is rigged against the poor, okay? So I'm curious, and this is my reaction to this, and if I feel inclined to, I will let you know my opinion, you know, my review of what I've just seen, okay? So, yes, God, let's get in, let's get live, you know how we do.
You build your life and get a fresh start, but the reality is much harsher. We punish people with criminal records long after they've paid their debt to society, and we all suffer for it. Even simply being accused of a crime is just the beginning of perpetual punishment. A cycle of legalized discrimination, poverty, and reincarceration, a cycle kept in motion by 47,000 laws and regulations nationwide that restrict critical rights and opportunities. After contact with the criminal justice system, millions of Americans are denied employment and housing, denied college educations, excluded from public benefits, separated from their children, deported despite being legal residents, and deprived of the right to vote. These restrictions trap the poor and people of color in invisible cages that extend far beyond prison walls and criminal courts. Cages that lead to a lifetime of obstacles that undermine even the most earnest efforts at rehabilitation and redemption. Cages that send the message, you will never be a part of society again. This is not some isolated problem. 95% of all incarcerated people will return home at some point. Each year, more than 600,000 people are released from jails and prisons. That's roughly the population of Boston or Seattle. Millions more are completing non-jail sentences like probation, community service, or fines. As reentry specialist at Brooklyn Defender Services, a public defense firm representing 45,000 clients per year, I work on the front lines to help people with criminal histories overcome their past and navigate the obstacles of their present so they can build a sustainable future. I try to help folks take responsibility for their own lives, but it's hard to do when the outlook is so bleak. Even for low-level offenses and misdemeanors, the aftermath of one individual's experience with the criminal justice system ripples out to entire families and neighborhoods and gets passed down from generation to generation. The result, more poverty, more crime, more incarceration. I see Javon, an 18-year-old young man who cannot live with or even visit his family, and cannot find an affordable apartment because he was convicted of gun possession and banned from all public housing. I see the dangerous shelters and street corners where he'll sleep. I worry about what he's going to have to do to survive, how long it'll be before he's back behind bars. I see how society loses when Judy, a 58-year-old grandmother charged with a misdemeanor, is fired after her arrest and barred from her lifelong profession as a home health aide. Unable to work, she's faced with eviction and can't support her family. When Malik, a 26-year-old father, is denied the opportunity to further his education because of the mistakes of his past, I think about how he and so many others are set up to fail. How a conviction on a rap sheet is only a snapshot of a moment in time, when all of us are dynamic, changing over time. The criminal justice system disenfranchises these men and women, preventing them from growing, from truly being free. I am among the very few fortunate enough to be living a second chance. 3 decades ago, I was involved in a crime that took the life of another human being. I spent over 24 years in prison for my role in that reprehensible crime. While incarcerated, I had the chance to participate in a pilot program offered to only 15 inmates that allowed me to pursue a formal education. Upon release, I found an employer willing to look beyond my criminal record, one that saw the hard lessons I learned in prison as an asset, not a liability. Affording people a real opportunity to re-enter society isn't just good for individuals and families, it's good for all of us. Meaningful re-entry increases productivity, reduces poverty, and saves money. Most importantly, it makes us safer by eliminating the circumstances that perpetuate cycles of crime and punishment. People already get punished harshly by the system, but they shouldn't receive a second sentence that makes discriminating against them legal for the rest of their lives. By restoring full rights of citizenship to people after they've been through the system, we can start to end the cycle of perpetual punishment. We can start to abolish the justice trap.
That was profound, indeed, and true. For me, my experience. Well, not my experience, because I never done any type of crime. So, the probation office, a couple years ago, and I was a receptionist, I was a UA tech, and all that jazz. And I was a little bit of everything, secretary and everything. And I worked there for 4 years, you know, before quitting. And the reason why I kind of quit.
And everything, number one, because the new supervisor was a bitch.
I didn't have a problem with the dudes, you know, that was on, with the people, you know, the people that was on probation.
The issue out of 4 years, I was a little bit more flamboyant back then.
And I never had an issue. But the issue was
Female officers especially. We're nasty and so rude and everything. Oh, we got our criminal justice degree and everything. I can talk to you any kind of way and I have issues with them.
and if they didn't feel like being bothered with, you know, them, if they missed a fee or, you know, just be real, some of them officers was young and everything in their 20s, mid-20s, 30s and stuff. And I know
I don't, because I don't like the feeling of it. I don't like being hungry.
and I feel like just give them a slap on the hand and everything, and because they don't like the client or whatever, they're sending their stuff back to court, and I just thought that was not fair at all. You over here because you like them or don't like. You know, I had, you know, access to records and what they did and blah blah blah. Whenever I enter in the spin number and stuff, they would do everything appropriate, right? Go to classes and everything, but they were always unable to get a job. Why? Because of, you know, these offenses, especially the little minor offenses and stuff like that, under $500 on here. Like, really? You could just remove that whenever they pay their fees and serve their time. Like, that's really stupid. You know what I mean? Or drug charge in whatever, that's 1 ounce. I think they just passed here in Texas.
I'm hearing that, you know, they done dropped down how much you can carry with marijuana and all that.
You can't get an apartment. You know, do you have any criminal offenses? And then when you do an application and stuff, that's another question. They do background checks and everything. You can't get a apartment. You can't get your job. And I just don't think that's fair.
And you can't get an apartment or place, you can't get a job and everything. What do you have to turn to? Back to the habitual cycle. You gotta go back to support your family, to support, you know, yourself. That have to do, and then that's what I'm hearing. It's quick, easy money, and some of them get a lot of the money and everything. So it's easy for them to do that.
Oh, it's going back black, it's killing blacks, but you just block them from doing anything else. So they have to do it, and then it's just a bad environment. And then when someone's in a bad environment, it's just, it's not fair.
They don't have no way to get out because you shut the door.
If they're working to get, you know, to get in, they're doing everything possible to get in and let go of their ways and stuff, you should open the door. Oh, you need to do, you know, but the record is still there. The thing is still there. The thing that held them back, it's gonna always hold them back until it's off completely. And then come find out, like, oh Lord, I think like year 2 or 3, y'all find out.
It's never off completely. It's like over a misdemeanor, especially with a felony, it stays like, oh Lord, anywho.
Well, that was just a really sad video. Anyways, let me know what you think below. Alrighty, so this is Aaron Fantasy signing out. Deuces.